Hello, my name is Jason Lucas, and today is December 26, 1938. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, and me and my fellow reporters are going to cover the latest news of this year, starting with stocks. Stocks are the building blocks of life. Stocks could make or break us. We are at the recovery of the tragic depression. We shall get through this, because we Americans would rise once again. The time we have been waiting for has begun. In June 1938, economic growth resumed, and is stronger than it ever was. There is now a shimmer of light in the stock market. Most of the spectacular corporate failures and life-altering forced migrations had already occurred in the early part of this decade. 1938 was a mere shadow of that. FDR has announced a $2 billion spread lend program that embraced deficit spending, but the tax increase remained. $3.75 billion was split into recovery agencies. These will allow us to grow on the things we need to expand. Employment went from 4.3 and increased to 19. This is a 4.7 gain in a short amount of time. That helped the stocks to grow more. Widespread investors feared that approaches risk a renewed recession by withdrawing stimulus from a fragile economy too soon. Manufacturing is not back up as if it was 1934. People who had stocks at 1937 to 1938 had a 60% increase. Now my colleague Janelle shall talk about the 1938 Dust Bowl.
The way I see it, hard times aren't only about money or drought or dust. Hard times are about losing spirit and hope, and what happens when dreams dry up. This is a quote that Karen Hesse says in her book, Out of the Dust. Karen's book talks about life in the Dust Bowl area and the struggles a family faces, and her book has a huge relation to my topic of the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl first happened in the early 1930s and was the worst man-made disasters in history. Dust would build up and create giant dust clouds in the air, and people who lived in areas had dust storms and were not safe. Dust particles would snake up in the cracks of the walls and windows of your home and clogging up your ears, nose, and mouths. A lot of people were infected with dust pneumonia, which was building up into your lungs from entering through the ears, nose, and mouths. Although the Dust Bowl was a horrible time, not everybody left their homes to find a safer place to live, and for the people who did leave, went to California to find a safer place. For the people who stayed, most of them were farmers who did not want to give up on their farm, growing their crops and making their money from them. Most farmers didn't give up on their farms and believed that it would rain, even in the middle of a drought. News report from Janelle Cortez, and now we'll be right back after these commercials.
They're carrying breakfast and lunch. All you need is some chicken and waffles. You might say that sounds ridiculous, but you never know unless you try it. It shall satisfy all your needs of food. It brings that soul food vibe to any occasion. It will be the best part of your day once you combine that savory, salty chicken with that golden crunchiness of a waffle, and a tad bit sweet from the maple syrup. You can make this at home or go to Your Mama's Chicken and buy it for a reasonable price. You can share with friends or that special someone, or just a late night snack at your parents' house. Everybody loves chicken and everybody loves waffles, so why not combine them both and get a taste you never got before. This meal is for anybody, short or tall, skinny or fat, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. It doesn't matter what you are. It is going to be enjoyed by everybody at all times. And remember this shall lighten up your day, and it will be the best thing you've ever had before.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Juliana, and here is the changing of women's roles in recent times. It seems as if we, as a nation, have been stuck in an eternal rut of falling prices and rising tin shacks. But some women have broken the mold and changed the image of the usual flapper-turned-flat woman. Years have passed since housewives became the do-all masters, from stuffing old coats with blankets or sheets or going out and finding much-needed jobs. It's really amazing how many women are now a part of a working union, which is 800,000. That's 3 times more than just 10 years ago. If we were to also look at the past 10 years of the hardships in the history of us women, it would take longer than the Depression itself, so let's just hear about the past 2 years. Last year, the Congress of Industrial Organizations gave charters, or defined privileges, to 3 white-collar, all-female unions. This was a monumental step for women, because there's finally a few female, powerful, and equal unions compared to others in the United States. Not only did we create a foundation for future years like today, but another advancement was made in literature. Margaret Mitchell won the Pulitzer Prize for her riveting novel Gone with the Wind. Margaret was famous in 1937 and still is to this day. Those 2 steps didn't go to waste, though, because shortly after, on January 11th, history was made. Frances Moulton was the first woman to become president of a U.S. national bank. This is a huge deal. We have never been a part of any board or Congress or even the head of anything. Some may say that this ordeal is of no importance, but it has sparked hope for a brighter future in countless girls and women across the nation, including me. Women have definitely become a vital part of the working society in these dark times. The possibilities are endlessly positive and exciting to dream about. Things are starting to look up, and we, as a nation, are ready for a new path of rising women and falling prejudices. And finally, here's Scott Vo for the latest and greatest news updates about sports.
Throughout the history of our nation, sports have played an enormous part in our culture. During great times, it is a pastime. During terrible times, it is an escape. Out of the dust, sports are forged from blood, sweat, and tears. Stay tuned as we review the major events in sports that entail the sweet relief of sad times from this year. Of all sports, what's more American than baseball? The New York Yankees beat the Chicago Cubs in the World Series with a score of 4-0. The 2-time defending champions took the championship once again, sweeping the Cubs. Besides that, Johnny Vandermeer, starting pitcher of Cincinnati Reds, threw back-to-back no-hitters this season. In boxing, Henry Armstrong held the welterweight, featherweight, and lightweight world title all this year, all in the same year to be exact. Just a year ago, he had won 22 bouts consecutively, 21 of them being knockouts. In the championship game, the referee stated, "If you spit any more blood on this floor, I'm going to stop this fight." For the National Football League, the New York Giants defeated the Green Bay Packers 23-17 for the championship. They topped off the season with a record of 8-1. And there were about 48,120 people in attendance at the big game. In the NCAA, champions were the TCU Horned Frogs with an unbeaten record of 11-0. Of the 77 voters, the Associated Press, 55 voted for TCU. Apart from that, the California Golden Bears shot out the Alabama Crimson Tide as they won at 13-0 in the 24th annual Rose Bowl. On the amateur side, the first high school Oil Bowl was organized and played this year. At the Kentucky Derby, Lauren, the American thoroughbred horse, came out victorious over Dauber Kenway. He is the descendant of Insco and was rode by the jockey Eddie Arcaro. Additionally, he is also the first Kansas-bred winner of the Kentucky Derby. For tennis news, the Wimbledon champion was none other than the Americans Dawn Budge for men and Helen Moody for women's. Without sports, our nation and its rich culture would differ in many ways. Apart from many tragedies, our nation has stood strong throughout the Depression thanks to sports. We've come to an end for the daily news report, but don't worry for too long. Right after our sponsor, we will be continuing our miniseries, Out of the Dust, by Karen Hess. Hey Jimmy, you hungry?
Why, of course I am, but there's nothing to eat.
You're right. Oh wait, let's go get some Spam. Convenient, affordable, and delicious, Spam is always a great choice. When you're hungry, go and crack open a can of Spam. The meats, the many uses. A perfect meat for every meal at the tip of your fingertips. You can bake it, you can fry it with eggs, you can even make sandwiches. It does it all, folks.
But there's only one flavor.
Spam only needs one flavor, Jimmy. And remember, kids, when you're hungry and thinking about ham, remember there's always Spam. And when you don't hear the sizzle, don't throw a fizzle, 'cause there's always Spam. in a can.
Yummy!
Brought to you by Hormel Foods.
Hey, Ma, it's Daddy's birthday today. What are we gonna do?
Well, we don't got enough money for something nice. Let's just make a cake for dinner.
Do we have enough to go all the way? I want to make him special.
I'm not sure, but we can try, I guess. Here. I've been saving up some suds for something special.
Oh, Kippy!
Now don't go spending it on music sheets. This will be just enough for Daddy's cake.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I won't. I'll hurry right back from the store, and you won't even notice I was gone.
All right then, we'll hurry along. We ain't got all day.
I hope Mr. Harley won't do me badly with this one. Ever since his roof caved in and because of all the dust, he won't be nothing but mean.
Hello? Who's there?
It's just Billy Joe, Mr. Harley.
You better not be trying to steal it from me, girl. That man that helped me with my attic thought he could get away. I'm smarter than anyone in this dried up town.
Don't blame me for something I'm not gonna do, Mr. Harley. It's my daddy's birthday and I'm getting things for a cake.
That'll be 40 cents.
Have a good day, Mr. Harley. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be... He was...
Yeah, you too. See you later, kid.
Ma, I'm home and I didn't get any music at all. Ain't you happy?
Sure, Billy Joe. Let me see the change you got there.
Yeah. Please don't be short. Please don't be short.
Well, my God, Mr. Hardley had himself a Brody right here.
What? How much is gone?
Nothing's gone. He gave us 4 pennies more. He cheated himself this time.
Well, what are we gonna do with it, Ma? Can I take it to Joy City and buy it some music finally?
Now, Billy Joe, you listen here. Everyone around us is just as beat as we are. Some are even worse than us. You go straight back to Mr. Hardley's store and hand this back to him. We ain't like those kind of people who steal from others.
Yes, Mama. I'll be back soon. Don't decorate without me, though. You know it's my favorite part.
Of course I won't, darling. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Billy Joe, now go sit at the table just the way I showed you.
Yes, Mama.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yup.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, flip.
Well, dear, you prepared our dinner well, and the chocolate milk looks delicious.
Well, looks like we'll have to chew our dinner and chew our drinks.
It's okay, Ma. Thank you for the food. It's delicious.
How's the baby coming along, dear?
Baby's good, treating me well. I'm excited for him to be born, aren't you?
I'm pretty sure we all are, right, Billy Joe?
Yes, Daddy. I'm excited to have a little brother.
I'm worried this dust storm will get worse when the baby comes.
We'll be okay, dear. We'll take good care of him.
I'll help too, Mom.
Thank you.
Well, let's finish up our dinner now.
The winds are really strong tonight. Let's clean up the table now and close up all the windows and doors.
Now let's call it a night.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Mom.
Good night, hon.
We hope you folks enjoyed the weekly showing of Out of the Dust by Karen Hess. If you enjoyed it, stay tuned for next week as we'll continue our series. Until then, thanks for listening, folks.